Poor girl looks at old man and asks quietly, "Can I eat what you didn't finish?" He looked down at her like he wasn't sure she was real. She was maybe 7. Dirty clothes, tangled hair, skinny arms folded tight like she was trying to keep her stomach from growling out loud. And she just stood there, staring at his plate like it was made of gold. "Can I eat what you didn't finish?" she said. No hi, no begging voice, just that. Quiet, flat, like she was used to asking that kind of thing. He blinked, fork still in hand, a half-eaten chicken leg and cold mashed potatoes on the plate in front of him. And you could tell. It shook him, not because he was scared, not because she was being rude, but because he hadn't even noticed her walk up. This was the kind of man who usually noticed everything. Ex-military, early 70s, used to routine. Coffee at 6, lunch at 12, go home by 3. That day, he was on the same park bench he'd sat on for years. But now, this little kid was staring at his leftovers like it was the first real food she'd seen in days. And she wasn't crying. She wasn't begging. She was just waiting. He looked down at the food, then back at her. "You hungry?" he asked. She nodded once. That was it. He slid the plate over. Slowly, still unsure if he was doing the right thing. She sat right on the ground, no hesitation, no shame, and started eating like she hadn't eaten in weeks. What would you do, seeing something like that? He didn't say a word for a while, just watched her eat. Tiny hands scooping up mashed potatoes like it was the best thing she'd ever tasted. She didn't even use the fork, just fingers, fast. And that chicken leg, gone in seconds. He noticed how she kept glancing sideways, not at him, behind him, like she thought someone might yank the food away any second. That's when he finally spoke. "What's your name?" She kept chewing, then wiped her mouth with the back of her hand. "Lena." He nodded. "Where's your mom and dad, Lena?" She looked down, picked at a breadcrumb. "Don't know." That hit him. "Don't know?" he repeated. She just shrugged. "Mama said she'd come back. That was a long time ago." He leaned back, trying to process that. A kid, out here alone, no coat, in the middle of November, asking strangers for scraps. He asked, real gentle now, "Where do you sleep?" She pointed, across the park. "Behind the statue. It's dry there." Dry. Not warm, not safe, just dry. That was the moment, the exact second his heart cracked. He reached into the paper bag beside him, pulled out a second sandwich. He always brought 2. Habit. "Here," he said. "For later." She took it like it was a treasure. And for the first time, she smiled. Not big, not flashy. Just enough to say, "Thank you for seeing me." Have you ever seen a kid like that? Invisible to the world? She came back the next day. Same time, same place. He was already sitting there, same bench, thermos in one hand, sandwich in the other. This time she didn't ask. Just stood near him, quiet, waiting. He glanced sideways, gave her a little nod. "You hungry again?" She nodded. He handed her the extra sandwich without a word. They sat in silence for a while. Her on the ground, him up on the bench. Just chewing, no talking, no questions. But something had shifted. Day 3, she showed up with a scraped knee and no shoes, cold as hell. He took one look at her feet and said, "That's it." She blinked. "What?" He stood up, dusted off his jacket. "Come on, we're getting you some shoes." "I'm not allowed to go in stores," she said quickly. "They think I'm stealing." "You're with me now," he said. "Let them try." They walked 3 blocks together. Him slow, her fast, skipping to keep up. He bought her a pair of used sneakers from the thrift shop. Blue ones, little stars on the side. She lit up like someone handed her the moon. "Can I wear them now?" "Of course you can." She sat right there on the curb and pulled them on like they were glass slippers. He just watched, and for the first time, he realized he wasn't doing this out of pity. He wanted to see her smile. He needed it. Have you ever met someone who needed almost nothing, but gave you everything back just by being there? By the end of the week, everyone at the park knew her name. Lena, the little girl with the stars on her shoes and a sandwich in her hand. She started sitting on the bench with him now. Not on the ground. He made sure of that. He even brought an extra juice box, just because she liked the apple ones. It was wild, really. This man, who hadn't spoken more than 5 words to anyone in years, was suddenly chatting like a grandpa, telling her stories, showing her how his old watch worked. And Lena? She soaked it all in like sunlight. One day she said, "You used to be in the army?" He nodded. "Long time ago." "Did you fight bad guys?" He chuckled. "Something like that." "Were you scared?" He paused, looked at her, and said real slow, "Yeah. Every day." She thought about that, biting the straw in her juice box. "Me too," she said, quiet. He didn't push, didn't ask what she meant. But in that second, they understood each other. 2 people, decades apart, both carrying some kind of fear. He started bringing blankets, left one hidden behind the statue where she said she slept. Didn't tell anyone, didn't make it a big thing. She found it, curled up in it. And the next day she said, "That was you, huh?" He just smiled and handed her a peanut butter sandwich. Sometimes kindness doesn't look like a grand gesture. Sometimes it's a sandwich and a silent promise. "I got you now." Have you ever felt safe with someone, without them even saying the words? It was a Sunday when she didn't show up. He waited, a full hour, even longer. Kept glancing at the path she usually came from. Nothing. The sandwich stayed wrapped in the bag. The juice box went warm. She'd never missed a day, not once in 12 straight days. He told himself maybe she found help. Maybe some shelter picked her up. Maybe. But in his gut he knew. Something was wrong. He walked around the park, asked a couple of regulars, "You seen the little girl? About this tall, stars on her shoes?" Blank stares. Shrugs. Finally, he went behind the statue. And there she was, curled up, shivering, too weak to sit up, lips pale, her blanket soaked from the rain the night before. "Lena." He dropped to his knees. She opened her eyes, barely, tried to smile. "Hey, sorry I'm late." His chest nearly exploded. He picked her up, wrapped her in his coat, and ran. This old man, bad knees, bad back, he ran. To the urgent care down the block. "Help her," he shouted. "She's freezing. She hasn't eaten. Please, just help her." The nurses took her. He sat outside, fists clenched, heart pounding like a drum. And for the first time in years, he prayed. Not for himself, for Lena. Have you ever felt that kind of fear? Like your whole world suddenly fit inside a little shivering body in your arms? She stayed in the hospital for 2 days. Pneumonia, malnutrition, exhaustion, the whole list. He didn't leave. Slept in the waiting room, ate vending machine snacks, asked the nurses every hour how she was doing. When she finally woke up, she blinked and whispered, "You stayed?" He leaned in. "Of course I did." She looked so small in that hospital bed, wires taped to her skin, IV in her arm. But she smiled. That same tiny smile from the park bench. "I thought you'd leave. Everyone does." He shook his head. "Not me. Not ever." And something shifted in both of them. She wasn't just a random hungry kid anymore, and he wasn't just a lonely old man with extra sandwiches. They were each other's person now. When the hospital asked if he had any legal connection, he said no. But when they asked, "Do you want custody?" he said yes, without blinking. The paperwork took months, interviews, visits, red tape everywhere. But he never missed a step, never hesitated. Because for the first time since his wife died, he had a reason to get up in the morning. And for the first time in her life, she had someone who stayed. She moved into his small apartment, got her own bed, her own toothbrush. He even signed her up for school. And every morning, before she left, she'd say, "Love you, Grandpa." He never corrected her. He just hugged her back and said, "Love you more." If you were in his place, what would you have done? Have you ever taken someone in when no one else would?